what advice would you, each one of you, just maybe one or two things that you would like to give, to our batch who is going to be entering, the corporate world, and what advice would you give to them, and both, from the women's perspective, from the men's perspective, because we have to teach our men to be better leaders at the workplace as well, and how to work with women, and we have to also tell women how they can be successful in spite of all the challenges that are there. So what, in one or two points, what is that, advice, what strength can they find, going out into the corporate world? So Swati, would you like to start?
Sure. So the first thing I think which comes to my mind even when I think about my career is the fact that IFT is like home. It's like a safe haven where you have great friends, you have people you know and you've worked with for the last 2 years. I think it's important that you acknowledge the fact that this time is something to cherish and enjoy. And at the same time, some of the things that we do in campus, and I think my co-panelist also spoke about that. Some of the life projects we do, research that we do ourselves, some of the internships that we do as part of IFT go a long way in teaching you some of the tips and tricks and lessons that will help you survive the corporate world. So I would say that whatever time is left, do focus on that. Read. For example, I do remember that I had started reading HBR then because it just gives you the right things to think about, right things to also talk about, and right things to also take you in the right direction from a both professional and work point of views. So maybe those tips, tricks, you should definitely keep in mind when you step out. My other thing, again emphasizing on the fact that just be excited, just have that willingness to learn, because the next 6 months are going to be different. I wouldn't label them tough, they're going to be different. And I'm sure if you take it in your stride, you're going to enjoy that. So just focus on just learning in the next 6 months, because also those 6 months would tell you where is it that your interest lies, and possibly will help you picking up the career of your choice and your passion in the years to come. You've just started the journey. The third piece I want to say is never be afraid to course correct. And I think Susie and Anuradha would agree when I say and I use the term pivot. And we use in the industry more often than not. And by pivot, I mean if you feel that there is something that you've picked up which you possibly don't like, you always have ways to do things that you like, and you always have ways even in a boring job to do things that you absolutely like, and you can really rise up and you can do things which are great in your role. And when I say course correct, I also mean that there will be times when you will fail, and you will fail miserably. We don't recognize failure so much when we are studying. We take them in our stride, and that's the kind of approach you should have when you start your work, but also use failures as a way to recognize that you need to course correct, and therefore you should just think about it, course correct, and quickly move on. And I believe those have helped me, and somebody and few women who were around me really taught me that lesson. So we'll be glad if possibly women who want to take it can take it that ways, and I wish them all the best.
Thank you. Thanks, Swati. Yes, Rashi, what advice would you like to give?
So I think a piece of advice that is coming through from everybody, and I would like to reiterate that that it's important to stay excited. I think when the excitement ebbs, that's when you lose traction and boredom sets in, and it's difficult to pull yourself out of that. So stay excited. It's the start of your career. And everything that you do, every role that you do, big, small, with a fancy title, with not such a fancy title, we may not realize it right now, but it helps you in taking your next step. Today, wherever all of us are in our journeys could not have happened if we had not taken the step before that. or before that, or before that. So actually, if you trace down, you can never be, you can't regret anything that you've done, because that's what's taken you here, and that's what's helped you build your network, your set of people. So a case in point, I was reporting into Anuradha at Reckitt Benckiser. She was my woman leader. She was the one who was inspiring me, and she continues to be a very important part of my life. And we've decided to, we are connected, and she holds a special place for me. And there are many such people that all of us can recount who have been, a major part of our career journey. So stay excited, stay connected with, people who have helped you learn, who've been good to you, and who've given you opportunities. That always helps. And it's not about having an ulterior motive that, I'm going to use LinkedIn to leverage so that, tomorrow I get a job opportunity. It's not about that. It's about a much bigger space. It's about, the positivity that you get from people like this, who can be your sounding boards for anything and everything. Nowadays, I've realized that people have become much more open-minded. If you reach out on LinkedIn or through other network, for a piece of advice, people are willing to give you that time. So one doesn't have to, the first step has to be yours. Sometimes we say that, no, yeah, I'm not going to reach out. What will he think? What will she think? I think the barriers are more ours. It's more internal than external. So be willing to reach out. As I said, stay excited. It's okay to be a little naive. It's okay. That's when you learn. If you know it all, really, we won't need each other. So I think that's a few bits of advice today. I have learned so much from Manasi, Sujata, from Swati, about, of course, from Anu. I learn every day. But it's been wonderful, and it's just wonderful to just relive good times that we've all had at IIFT, and also know that you're not alone. People have faced different paths in their journeys, but challenges have been many for everybody, all of a different kind. And I think that's very important. Just stay excited, stay happy, and good will happen.
Thank you. Thanks, Rashi. Sujata?
I think everyone has covered the part that when you have to be excited and go ahead. I will just tell you one simple thing is figure out what gives you happiness. Very important. We sometimes don't look at that we just figure out when will I get the next promotion, what job is giving me more hike, or what is that other company which is an opening. Think about which company you would really want to stick to. You think that your values and the company's values match. In the long run, these will matter a lot. When we are young, we just keep jumping here and there, and there's so much competition. And I am out of the rat's race, but not really out of the race. But then I know what it means, and I actually was comparing myself to my peers and figuring out, he's gotten this, why didn't I get it? I should have applied too. Come out of that, and also in your life, it'll make a lot of more. You'll grow much higher if you figure out what you are good at and what actually makes you happy. Where is your passion? What we can focus on. That'll give you much more leverage in your life, and you'll be more happy. And money, success, the level, the CXO level, it'll happen. It'll just come to you. Also, that figuring out that thinking that God lies in small thing helps. Not focusing on the larger picture all the time, because it can be scary. Figure out what all small things can be fixed. It's sometimes so easy to focus on the smaller things and fixing them, because I have done that myself. When there's so much large corporates and bigger fashion giants who are there, who can just someday just throw me away from somewhere in the map, and then they will just grow. Fixing your smaller problems is just something which will put you in the chart back. So always think about your life like that. Take yourself lightly. Don't think that this is the end of the world. You have to do this. As Manasi also mentioned, right? There's a long way to go. So always running after something is not what you should do. Calm down, prioritize your life. If you want to be a homemaker, if you really want to have a kid, take a break, things like that. Think about what you really want, what gives you happiness, and then everything else will follow.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Sujata. Manasi?
I think I've already spoken a lot, but again, quickly, day zero placements. they don't define you.
Mm.
It's a head start. It helps, but it's a long road ahead. And you don't realize it at that minute, but it'll hit you a couple of years later. So I know we place a lot of importance on that day zero. My dream company didn't come to campus. And the next dream company that I thought I would get, I didn't. So, it was nerve-wracking, but things pan out well, and you realize that much later. I think, and that's a little bit about pacing yourself and figuring out who you are and where you want to fit in. And understandably, it cannot happen before you've entered the corporate world. So do yourselves a big favor and don't place that much pressure on yourselves. And second, I would say find your tribe at work, right? People who make work fun, who can lift you up, not just water cooler conversations, but having a purpose and a reason both in the work and the people that you work with, I think is important. And to Rashi's point, right, it's much later in life. You'll move on from the job, but it's the relationships that matter. And you can really lean in and learn from each other's shared experiences. So take that little bit of time to make the social connect. And lastly, I would say at the start, definitely throw the kitchen sink at whatever you do, right? Perseverance helps, especially when you really don't know what you're doing. And there's no better reward than hard work. So at the start, I would say you should do it always, but definitely at the start, throw the kitchen sink at whatever you do.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Manasi. Anuradha, last words.
I honestly am amazed at just the depth and the beauty of what has been said in the last an hour. Sujata, Rashi, Swati, Manasi, I have learned tons from you, and I've heard a lot of very great business leaders. I don't think they could have put it better. I think you guys have just, my advice to everyone is please listen to what has been said here. And it is not just for women, but there are a lot of great life lessons here. I'm going to try and, excitement is something, I vouch for being excited. I'm just going to try and add a few other things to what has been said. Be excited, be passionate because people notice it, but be committed. Are you going to follow through? Pick up skills, go deep. Your brashness and your tendency to speak up will be appreciated when you bring real skills to the table, when you offer depth. Be very interesting, have a lot of skills, have a lot of interests. It adds to your personality. You'll bring a lot. The movies I watch, the books I read, the people I meet, I bring it to my work. My best ad campaign, Har Ek Friend Zaruri Hota Hai, was born out of a conversation at a coffee table on the back of the Bombay Times that we were reading. So serendipity, make it your friend, but it'll be your friend when you explore yourselves to a lot of stimulus. Do that. Be interesting, but be also very interested in what people have to say. There's a lot that you can learn. Very often we are listening to respond. Listen to what somebody is saying. Learn what they have to say. You'll be amazed. As a marketer and as some, my golden rule is listen to your consumers. You can't meet them enough. Spend time, and it's consumers, it's your stakeholders, it's your bosses, it's your peers. It's the same rule. You cannot learn enough what they have to say to you. Listen. Connect with people. it's amazing, whether it's your consumers or whether it's people around the table or people you don't know, people you appreciate and admire, or people you don't. Connect with people, it's very important. I loved what you said, Mansi, about your career is a marathon. Pace yourself. It's okay, there'll be ups and downs. Think of the time that, you don't even think of the time that I'm sure there was a time you were miserable because you did not fare well in an exam. You don't even remember it today. So this situation will pass. You won't even remember it a year down the line. People who you can't stand will not be a part of your life. You won't even remember their names 5 years down the line. So pace yourself, ride out the highs and the lows, enjoy the highs, and suffer the lows. It's a part of this game called life and career. There is no way out of it. Finally, one last thing, get yourself your daily fix of serotonin. We undermine it, and I completely undermine it, but in the times and phases of my life that I have, it's been magical. And bright light and exercise. Get it, and one thing that the masters swear by is meditation. Center yourself. Do this, and then jump right in. I mean, be excited that you have this opportunity to participate. Lean in, participate, enjoy it. You will be cut, bruised when you go playing a game. You don't go out saying, I will only play if I'm going to be made the captain or if I'm going to score 100. You go out for the joy of playing. It's a privilege that you're in the position that you've been educated thus far, that you're going to be able to work and give back. I mean, whatever be your cause, find a way to give back. There are so many of us. We are in such a privileged position. Find someone to help. Find something to make better in the world as you go on. It's not one day. Finally, when you are done with this corporate, every day find a way to give back because there's great joy, and it comes around. So you are here because of what a lot of people have done. Your parents, your teachers. Your friends, society, the women's suffrage movement. I mean, we're here because we're standing on the shoulders of people before us. Make sure you're giving back and you're doing that for someone else. You already are, but if you could be even more conscious of it, that would be great.
Thank you so much. I feel so happy and so proud, although I was able to, teach only 2 of you here, but, so happy to see, that what IIFT is really made up of, and so proud. I've been in IIFT now 15 years. Okay, that's a long time. And I'm sure taught many batches, but feel so privileged to be, on this panel and feel really proud that, yes, maybe somewhere, I'm also contributing to this thought process. So thanks a lot, all of you. Really wonderful having this discussion. Thank you for taking the time out and, being here. I hope everybody who was listening really enjoyed and can take back these wonderful gems. I wish somebody had talked to me like this when I was, facing issues in my life. But so wonderful to have you all here. So now over to Arvind. Arvind, please let us know how to move ahead.
Okay, so that was a truly wonderful session. And I'm sure that the alumni, as well as the current batches who have joined in, found it to be equally engaging. I would like to thank all of our panelists for taking time off their schedules and being part of this interaction, and Dr. Pooja for being an excellent moderator and taking the discussion forward.